Early voting is underway in Florida, one state where Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are neck and neck. According to the latest CBS News Battleground Tracker poll, Clinton leads Trump by 3 points, 46 to 42. The race is also extremely tight in Texas, where Trump leads Clinton by 3 points. Now, both polls in Florida and in Texas are within the margin of error. That's something to consider. CBS News elections director Anthony Salvanto is here to talk all things politics with us. And let us start with Texas.
Sure.
Right, that Texas has not voted for a Democratic presidential candidate in decades. Why is it so close now?
It's close because Donald Trump is underperforming with a lot of the key groups that Republicans usually win. And he's still winning them, but he's not winning them by as much or as well as Republicans usually do.
Like
you look
white
at
males?
White males, exactly. White women, white college-educated women in particular. So you combine that with a big boost in the Hispanic vote, which is for Clinton and says that they're extra motivated to vote this year, and you get close. Now, having said that, I am cautioning this might be as close as Hillary Clinton gets. I think it is unlikely she's in a position to outright win Texas, but it tells this broader story. And we've seen this. We saw Utah last week, where Trump was underperforming what Republicans typically do. These are groups that he's not doing well with across the board in the country, so they're starting to move some of these usually not battleground states a little bit tighter.
So Texas to Hillary Clinton. Don't mess with Texas. That's what they say.
Well,
that's what I hear. Say that.
Yeah. We still have it lean Republican. It's still rated lean Republican, but it tells a story. It tells a story about the way that this election is sort of being reshaped by Trump not performing as well with those traditionally Republican groups.
And also, I think, by shifting demographics too.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's talk Florida. Is there anything that Donald Trump can do there to help him between now and Election Day?
Yeah, I mean, rhetorically, what he can do is talk about change, because that's what voters say they're looking for from him. If there's anything that people who aren't with Trump right now say they would listen to in terms of a message, it's that. How do you change Washington? Because that's what most people want. The trouble is when you ask them, okay, well, what is Donald Trump talking about? They say he's talking about the things that he wants to talk about, not the things that we want to hear. And there's a difference, and maybe that's sort of the campaign so far in a nutshell. But he's had that opportunity, not only that, but on the economy, where he consistently has done as well or better than Hillary Clinton on can you fix the economy. But that's not the consistent message they feel they've heard coming out of the campaign.
Yeah, one thing we've been hearing from him consistently is that the election is going to be rigged, that there is a possibility of voter fraud. I'm wondering how this is playing with Republicans. His supporters seem to like it, but what about Republicans on a whole?
Yeah, on the whole, one of the striking findings out of this is not only that Republicans feel that there is widespread voter fraud, but they say that it will cost Donald Trump the election, that he would win were it not for the fraud that they think is going on. And, you know, I relate that back to this larger loss of faith in many institutions that we have seen in polling throughout this year and in recent years, where things that are, American institutions, the way our political system works, the way our economic system works, where people are consistently saying, I don't think that it's fair. I don't think it's equitable. That some even use the word rigged. And so that loss of faith is sort of baked into this a little bit. And it's an issue. I mean, I say, look, you look at the election system, the first thing you should know is it's totally decentralized.
Well, that's the right. I was going to say, Andy, what sort of is particularly odious about this is that the way that the Trump campaign and Mr. Trump himself is framing this supposed or alleged fraud and rigging is as if there's some kind of federal rigging that is going on. In other words, that there's a central government that decides, how we conduct these races. When in fact, when you go to your polling place, these are the people that you live among in the community that are setting up in the high school, that are setting up in the community center, looking at your name, little old ladies who are retired, and those are the people that are at those voting booths when you go and vote and you exercise your right to vote, not some kind of government overlord that decides what people do and where people go.
And that's the thing that people want to look at. You can make up your own mind out there, and you can say, a healthy skepticism is always sort of part of the American experience, of course. But, there's 3,000 counties. There's, more than 100,000 voter precincts. We're talking about 100 million ballots. All of that is done for the large part locally at your county officials, and either by nonpartisan people or a mix of Democrats and Republicans throughout all the states. So it's really, really really widespread, and that's uniquely American.
Right.
That is a uniquely
like
American
American
process.
right.
You know, that decentralization.
And I wonder also, a lot of his surrogates have been saying, well, look what happened in 2000, look what
Right.
Al Gore did. But just to remind our viewers, the recount in Florida was automatic because it was such
close.
It was so close. It wasn't that Al Gore himself said, let's have a recount. It was the rules placed by that state to say if the margin is this, then we will trigger an automatic recount.
Yeah, look, I mean, throughout history, candidates have gone to specific places and said, well, the machines didn't do well here, or we want a closer look at, you know, which ballots went through the machine or didn't in these particular places. That does happen. But remember, that's different from saying that there's this widespread, almost conspiratorial, you know, attempt to go through and change something, and that it changes the outcome. Those are different points of view. I mean, they're honestly held, but they are different, I think. And you know, the work I think for a pollster is separating out which it is that you feel, you know, a candidate can do. Many of Trump supporters feel that he's well within his rights to say as a candidate that he might not accept the outcome of the election, and so like, there again, that's a place where, you know, in Americans we have back and forth about everything out there.
Right.
Yeah,
but
no,
that's
I don't think anybody has a problem saying,
Yeah.
look, I want to be sure that the election results are fair. That's okay, and you're not going to concede before the election happens. I think the question a lot of people have is to question our very American democracy,
Yeah,
the way
indeed.
we do democracy here in this country,
Yeah.
which other countries want to know and come and observe and see how we do, so they can go back to some of their places where the election process is not so transparent.
You know, we also, in social science, you find people say that it's often hard to imagine how many people might disagree with you, and this goes for both sides. You know, but you hear people in polling say, I don't know anybody who feels that way. I don't know anybody who says, who are you polling, right? Well, it's a big country, and I mean, to the point of being decentralized, right? And there are a lot of people with a lot of different opinions out there, but sometimes it's hard to take that next step and go, oh yeah, there really are, because everybody I talk to feels the same way as me, and that's wrapped up in this too.
Yeah, I think so. CBS News Elections Director Anthony Salvanto, thank you so much.
Thank you.